Yes, indeed, folks. You know what time it is? It's time for some play-by-play. Now, this is how it's going to go. This is the entry for, well, my entry for the Blizzard Shoutcasting Contest. I'm going to do it live, no safety nets, no edits whatsoever, because that is the way shoutcasting should be done. Hopefully, all of you have your videos downloaded. If you don't, it is probably too late, and you should wait for the podcast to come out, then you can do it. Load up your videos, guys. Load them into Winamp, whatever you want to load them into. Now, this video, I believe, is 3 minutes 54 in length. Load it up and get ready to get started. Now, what's going to happen is that I'm going to give you a 5-second count in, at which point you will have the opportunity to press play. And hopefully, if you press play at the right time, the video will be synced up with my commentary. I have not seen this video before. I have only watched the first 20 or so seconds so I can see which teams are going to be involved in it. Yes, indeed. That is all I've watched. I give you my pledge, my solemn vow. No safety nets. No tricks, no edits. This is how we roll. Either this is going to fail monumentally, or it is hopefully going to be a huge success. It's funny, because I'm the guy who always claimed that esports, especially with arenas, would never take off. So the only person who can prove me wrong is me. So let's get ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready for this? I certainly hope so. Get your videos ready. I'm going to fade this music out, put on something a little bit more appropriate. At least, when we're ready to start. Get your videos ready, folks. And start your videos in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nubs of all ages, let's prepare for ponage! Yes, indeed, folks, you are joining me live, Total Biscuit, with the World of Warcraft 3v3 Season 2 evilness. That is the Arena Tournament. We've got the first team right here, the Horde team, consisting of Horde, Discipline, Priest, by the looks of it, a Horde Warlock, and an Arms Warrior. And on the other side, we've got Resto Druid, we've got a Gnome Warlock, and a Gnome Warrior, ready to duke it out. The only difference, of course, being between these two teams, the racials and the healers. That's what it's going to decide the particular difference here. Looks like we've got a Soul Link Warlock and an Arms Warrior, Resto Druid, Discipline Priest on the other side, and we are ready to go. Let's fire it up here on WoW Radio. It's the Arena Play-by-Play. Buffing up and getting ready to go. Mounted up. And off we go. It's, of course, the Blade's Edge Arena going up onto the top there with the Horde team on their way. And we see it flanking round to the right with the Tauren Warrior and the first fires, the first shots going off there with a debuff. A Curse of Agony, by the looks of it, cast on the Gnome Warlock, with the Gnome Warlock engaging there, and the Tauren Warrior going after the Priest, and the Priest attempting to flank around there to get line of sight. And we're looking at the health bars here. Everything seems to be pretty equal. Little bit of damage done to the Tauren Warrior, easily healed there by the heal of the Priest, and charging in there after the Resto Druid. Got a Fell Hunter on the Resto Druid, pretty smart there. Got all the curses and dots going on there, and the Warrior engaging the Druid in an attempt to stop the heals over time, but it's not happening at the moment. Certainly not the rest of the Druid actually sitting on full health, and by the looks of it, 65% mana as compared to the other team with the Priest on about half mana at this point, and the Warlock going very, very low indeed. So early in the fight, not so good at all. Warrior there engaging Warrior, not doing all that much, and then charging in again after the Priest. We've got the Warlock behind there, trying to line of sight and engaging, chasing after the Resto Druid, and then, of course, being engaged again by the Gnome Warrior. We've got a lot of damage there for the Warlock. Warlock taking hefty damage, and he's just saved there by a quick heal by the Priest, but the Priest is running a little bit low on mana, going below 50% threshold, and more damage done to the Warlock there. Warlock almost out of mana. Going to cause it an awful lot of problems if they attempt to use the life tap to get that mana back. That would be very unfortunate indeed. Quick life drain there on the Gnome Warlock. Not an awful lot of life actually taken back there. We've got red flashing warning signs on the Warlock. Warlock almost down. Quick heal there by the Priest. And the other team looking incredibly strong at the moment, I must say. Health levels very high. A lot of mana there. Resto Druid showing his efficiency. And a quick drain there by the Warlock, attempting to drain the other Warlock of some life, but the Warlock's sitting on full health but no mana. Not an awful lot of use there, I must say. Well, the Tauren Warrior engaging the Gnome Warrior again for some inexplicable reason. Not entirely sure why he's not going for the Clothy there. Warlock on low HP. Can they take him down? Yes, they can. Warlock down on his backside. Utterly ridiculous Never seen anything like this before whatsoever. We've got the Alliance team there sitting on, by the looks of it, 3 people with relatively good HP, lot of mana there, and the Priest running incredibly low on mana at this point. Disciplined Priest, low on mana, used all his tricks, and a lot of draining going on there. We've got the Gnome Warlock on top of the bridge, has got a very good view, and down goes the Priest, right down there, absolutely annihilated, and only the Warrior left. Warrior going down, being beaten to death, and that is it. That is the end of the game. Well done, fantastic play there by the Alliance team. My name is Total Biscuit, and you have been watching live play-by-play Arena World of Warcraft. That's quite stimulating, you know. I might have to do that more often. And if you like that kind of thing, for the love of God, go and tune in to our brand new show that's coming on. This the Saturday night main event with Emperor, the guy who can do this way better than me. Trust me. That is what is going to go in to the contest. No edits, nothing whatsoever. That is what I am capable of. We'll see if it's enough. I'm going to have a drink of this, because good lord, that really does tire your voice out. Delicious. That was a new experience for me. I've done play-by-play before, but I've never done it on an actual WoW PvP game. I've never been a fan of the WoW PvP meta game kind of thing going on there. The mini-game, as it's called, but that's kind of enjoyable. I should do that again. Right. We're not done yet, folks. Oh, no, we're not done. It's the illusion of choice! Oh, yeah. Illusion of choice. This is where we allow you to pick the last topic of the show, and I would certainly hope, by this point, you have managed to come up with some topics. So let's have a look. The illusion of choice. What are your thoughts on classes such as Hunters and Warlocks macroing their abilities to also command their pet to attack totems in PvP? It's PvP, I don't care. Sorry. I suppose it's kind of like, oh, they're macroing in PvP, therefore it's taking the skill away from PvP. I suppose that would work if that really mattered, but I don't honestly care. However, this is a little bit of a better post here. It's more PvP stuff, but I can kind of go with this. It's from Brotz, a level 80 mage, Burning Legion US, and he says this. TB, greetings from the Great Chi Town. What? I have no idea what that means. My message today will center around this that I found from the Blue Post's copy-paste incoming. Yes, this is very, very recent. This is why you listen to live shows, because you get the newest news live on the air. It's just come out on MMO Champion. It's a new patch note for 3.1.0, and it's that Impact, which is a mage talent, yes, this is my field, gives your damaging spells a 5 to 7 to 10% chance to cause the next fire blast you cast to stun the target for 2 seconds. Lesai, why do you think Blizzard is hating on mages so much lately? Being a mage, I know this must make you feel something toward the way our class is being morphed by the higher-ups, and I was wondering what you thought about where our class is heading. Being one of the pure DPS classes, I feel that we should be allowed to be the best DPS class there is. Mages, Warlocks, Rogues, Hunters should be topping the charts all the time, yet we are continually being pushed aside by class homogenization. Why? Thanks for picking your brain a bit. Well, this is kind of a two-part question. One is, why are mages underperforming? And since I'm not underperforming, I kind of question whether or not that's the case. And the other part is, why are they nerfing Impact? They're not. Right, let me cast your minds back just a little bit. This is something they said a little while ago. They were wanting to make changes to PvP. I don't remember this specific quote, so this is a paraphrase, and I do apologize if I botch it. They wanted to make PvP less about random procs and more about things that you, the player, could control. Now, Impact, by its very definition, is a random proc. It is a part of the group of talents which span many different classes, which is a this might happen proc. And it's an upgrade in that respect. Now, Impact has always been a PvP talent. Now, here's the thing. Impact used to be a 2-second stun that could proc randomly off of spells. Now, in this case, Impact has been changed. It gives your damaging spells a 10% chance to cause the next fire blast you cast to stun the target for 2 seconds. Now, is this enough or a berf? Is it enough or a berf? You can tell I'm tired now, good lord. Is it enough or a berf? Well, the question has to be asked, what does this do to the mage in PvP? The answer is this. It's very simple. It gives a degree of control to the proc that you did not as a mage previously have. You have the same proc chance. Just bear this in mind. You have exactly the same proc chance. Your proc chance has not been nerfed at all. It allows the next fire blast you cast to stun the target for 2 seconds. That means you control the stun. Mages don't have stuns. That's something we don't have. We've got a bit of crowd control, but we don't have actual stuns. This gives the mage a stun that they can control. In PvP, that's huge! I mean, why are you objecting to this? It gives control to the mage. It is part of the design philosophy they wanted to put out that says, we want to remove some of the random elements from PvP. We don't want to get rid of all of them, but we want to get rid of some of them. Stuff like Storm Herald. Remember Storm Herald and all of the BS that was surrounding Storm Herald and Deep Thunder back in the day? Because it was random. They changed Mace Spec. Mace Spec got changed. Mace Spec was random stuns. They got rid of that. They eliminated it. Why'd they eliminate it? Because it sucked. Random proc chance based stuff that can affect the tide of a PvP battle is lousy. Now, what you can assume is that this impact will happen a few times a fight, and the opponent can prepare for that. But the main point, and this is why it's a buff to mages, is that you could prepare for it too. If you get an impact, and you could just, like, say, built it into one of these mods that says you have an impact ready, then you can then use your Fire Blast at will, and you can hold that Fire Blast to when it matters most. You want to interrupt that spell? Okay, you've got an instant cast damaging spell that stuns the target for 2 seconds. That's huge! That's wonderful! Save it! See that priest casting that big heal that's going to change the direction of the fight? Boom! Fire Blast! No! You can't do it. I stopped you. I had control of that. And that's because of this change. Do not tell me that's a bad thing. It's not! It's a wonderful thing! It's fantastic. More, please. Take more of the random elements out of PvP, you get closer to proper, true balance. You cannot balance PvP if it's based around random proc chances. It won't work. Because people will complain. You get a string of lucky crits, or you get a string of lucky procs, and the first thing that's going to happen is the guy who lost is going to whine on the forums, "Wow, this class is overpowered in PvP!" When actually they're not overpowered in PvP, they just got really unlucky. Take the luck out. That brings more player involvement in. More player involvement equals more skill. More skill, good thing. More skill involved in PvP, the more legitimate PvP becomes. That is very important. That is vital. It should be happening. Absolutely, without the shadow of a doubt. You want to have procs, you can keep them for PvE when it's not so competitive. Something that's competitive, you don't want that kind of random element. It's not acceptable. The control is important. This is a buff. It is not a nerf. Let me get that out there right now. If you had any doubt, this is a buff. Now, there's the question as whether or not Blizzard have been hating on mages lately. They haven't. Mages are great right now. The problem is hunters are too powerful. You know, it depends on the fight. As a mage, I am constantly in the top 5, usually the top 3. My gear is pretty good. And I was playing Frostfire spec, which is technically slightly lower on the DPS scales than Arcane, but I respec Frostfire to help the raid, because we didn't have a Frostfire mage in Nax this week. So I went into Nax, and I'm rolling like 2, 3, 4, and even 1 on the damage meter at one point. That's good. Frostfire, a slightly underpowered spec in comparison to Arcane, is competing with other high damage, well-geared players. And bear in mind, the players in Lethe are awesome. These are great players. These players know their classes inside out. They don't slack. I was like 3rd on Patchwork. I was like 50 damage behind the next guy. No crazy buffs. It was everything that everyone else had. No crazy gear, just pretty much the same gear as everyone else had. Mages perform great. People ask, why aren't there any mage changes? They don't need to be. Not for PvE, we're fine. We have 2 viable, very viable ways of doing damage. We have one that's mana efficient, relies on big crits and rolling damage. We have another that relies on burst and high speed and the ability to control our mana output to affect the way that our damage works, i.e. Arcane. Both very viable. Only thing that isn't viable at the moment is Frost. It's significantly worse. That's fine, that's getting fixed. They're looking into that. You don't need to buff mages anymore. We're fine. I don't know why people think mages aren't very good. I don't understand. Yeah, our crowd control abilities have been nerfed. Now, that's fine. That's happened. I'm hoping Ulduar will resolve that. I'm not going to worry too much about it. There wasn't a lot of crowd control required in the original Nax either. At least not as a mage. There's no change there. Nothing has been changed. It's just because we happen to have a big instance that didn't require an awful lot of mage crowd control to begin with. The problem, I think, is that people take damage meters as a less of a barometer and more as a this is what is happening. It's like, yes, damage meters, and this is something Ghostcrawler said, and I will reiterate it because he's absolutely 100% right. Damage meters are taken into consideration, but they are not the be-all and end-all. They vary. I vary in DPS from fight to fight. There's some fights where I think, oh god, it sucks to be a mage right now, and then there's other fights where it's like, yeah, I'm rocking out 6,500 DPS. I am awesome. Look at the size of my damage meter. It's wonderful. That's the way it should be. There should be some encounters where that benefits certain classes over others. You've got so many classes that can do damage. You can't possibly balance them all. So what you can do is you can have one fight that favours one class versus one that favours another. Blah, 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 blah. It all works. Why is that a bad thing? Someone try and explain that one for me. I can't figure it out. My name has been Total Biscuit. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. We've got shout-outs left to go, folks. Email themurloc@gmail.com or PM me on IRC for the shout-outs for this particular show. You've got 5 minutes before the end of the show. I am exhausted and I really do want to go out and play some Dawn of War or something like that. But feel free to get your shout-outs to me. It's themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. Oh, yes. Email it to me or send it via IRC. I've got a couple of shout-outs that have actually been sent in to me before the show, which is pretty unusual. I'm not really sure why that happened. Some people do that. I've got a shout-out, please, here. Hey, TB, long time / first time. Yeah, he's a long time listener, first time writer. I'd like to give a shout-out, or in this case, a shot-out, to 2 guilds I saw on my server today. JFK was PvP flagged, and Jesus was soul-stalled on Shadow Council US. The show rocks, your station rocks. That's from Norpi Ordoza, the Wandering Tribe of Shadow Council US. Shout out, so given, good sir. What else have we got on the front of shout-outs? We've got loads of shout-outs, actually, tons of them. A shout-out to Arena Tony Realms for level 80 twinking. That's from Chris Boomer. Yes. Boomer. Chris Boomer? Is that really your name? Because that's amazing. You could be a supervillain. Or a terrorist. From Cyrix on Nordisil EU, I'd like to give a shout-out to Amgrim, the biggest achievement whore I know to my guild post-mortem, and to Ragebar from Insidia. Hell yeah, Ragebar. Love the show, I listen to it weekly, keep up the good work. A shout-out to TV for his badass play-by-play commentary. Nah, it wasn't that great, come on guys, really. Yeah, no need for that. To my guild, the Fremen Knights, that's from Arkham US. A shout-out to you, sir. Great job on the play-by-play. I was feeling a bit nervous at first, but you nailed it. Want to give a shout-out to you for a job well done. Seriously, stop with this. No. It wasn't that good. Also, Cheetown equals Chicago, apparently. That's from Model 80 Holy Pally on Gilneas US. Well, I learned something today. Also, if time allows, I'd like to shout out to my guild, Stark Raving Mad. Great group of people who gave me a new home after returning from an 8-month grape. Fantastic. An 8-month grape. I just said 8-month grape. My failures are at least the best failures. Seriously. A shout out to Duncorp. Oh god, he's spreading to Eve! That's from Himeta. Shout out to Majors for being better than Oomkins. That's from Mustachio Nut. I like my pet Oomkin. It's nice. A shout out to me for my first live do, please. That's from Cowl. And a shout out to Ulsar Tarigo, whose wife hates WoW. Yes, well, they generally do. If they don't play it, they hate it because you're spending more time with it than you are with them. Not a good idea. Psst, I just sent my wife flowers. And it took them a week to get there. And the first 3 bouquets sucked. Never order from you flowers. Ever. A shout out to Davlin, Mr. NNJ, Snapple Monkey and the Queen, and all the other IRC crew. That's from Tor and Tom. Also, thanks to Tor and Tom, who provided a mirror for our video today. Very good. A shout out to my good friend, Dark Messiah. All the best to him in his final year of college. I hope he's not as bugged as Dark Messiah was. A shout out to Order of Hellscream on Shatar EU. That's from Diabar. And again, I have a shout out to me for getting my 5th level 80 seed. Play another game! Jeez! A shout out to Euphoria of Dentag EU for being awesome. That's from Slamon. Is that like some kind of fighting salmon? Can I get a shout out for Sam Thor for kicking some ass? I, Age of Mythology. I, Spartacus. I, Robot. That's from Palandul. Hey TB, can I get a shout out to Guild Aphoris? We downed Sarthari and 3 Drakes 25 man for the first time yesterday. Oh yes, you can indeed. Shout out to me for feeling like crap for the last 3 days straight. That's from Mazjin, Troll Mage of Dark Spear. Troll Mage, huh! Yeah, represent. What is your profession? That is the question. And last but not least, shout out to those who are amazed by TB's BBC article and to TB for making an actual interesting commentary. That's from Goldstar, who seems to be something of my critic today. The critics are coming out of the woodwork today, folks. Oh, yes. And a final shout out that I will give to the crew at undergroundwow.com. And I say to you, you're critiquing my show, pull no punches. None whatsoever. Show me what you've got. Because dishonesty and BS are the worst things to ever happen in life. My name is Total Biscuit. You have been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Thank you ever so much for listening. You've been fantastic today. Brilliant. Love you guys. You're great. Check out let's try it again. Check out the other shows at wcradio.com and check out our shows on iTunes. You can subscribe there. Our brand new website, version 4, hack-proof, I hope. Or at least close to being hack-proof anyway. Go check it out. If you like what we're doing, click our ad banners and feel free to donate. Even a small amount does help towards the maintenance of our bandwidth. We put out tens of terabytes of podcasts a month just for you guys. It's costly business. My name's been Total Biscuit. You've been listening to Blue Please on WoW Radio. Ladies and gentlemen across the world, good night.